Welcome to our monthly Tango Alpha Lima Be the One podcast. I'm your host, Amy Forsyth, and I'll be here on the first of each month with guests who provide expertise, resources, and peer-to-peer support as part of the American Legion Be the One initiative to prevent suicide within the veteran community. On the first day of every month, American Legion family members are encouraged to wear Be the One apparel to publicly show their commitment to reducing the stigma around mental health issues. During this episode, we discuss topics that may be troubling for some. If you or a veteran you know is in crisis, call the Veterans Crisis Line at 988 and press 1. Go to betheone.org to learn how you can be the one to save one veteran. Let's get today's conversation started.
This podcast is sponsored by the SOAR campaign, dedicated to preserving access to life-saving air ambulance service. SOAR thanks the American Legion and its 1.6 million members. Because of your leadership, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs has postponed cuts that would have forced air ambulance bases to close. We are proud to partner with the American Legion in protecting emergency care for veterans and their families.
Today, our guest is Dr. Indra Sandal, Chief of Innovation with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs and a member of the American Legion Be the One Advisory Council. Dr. Sandal, thank you so much. Welcome to the Tango Alpha Lima Be the One podcast. We're so really pleased to have you today, and we're going to talk about some of your innovation. But first, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Amy, and glad to be here.
And you're coming to us from lovely Tampa, Florida. So great to have you.
Yes, it's quite beautiful. It's around 82 temperature here. So anybody who is listening in the audience, they should feel a little bit warm because it's 82 temperature here.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, before we dive into talking more about, the innovation side of what you've been able to accomplish over the past few years, talk to us and can you tell us kind of where you're from and your journey to get you connected to the VA?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Amy, because generally whenever I start talking, it's more about the journey and from where I came in and why VA and why veterans. So I really want to touch base a little bit on that. I'm very sure audience knows. So to say one more time, my name is Indra Sandal. I'm from Tampa at this time from Tampa, VA. I grew up in India, and growing up in India in the veteran family was quite different. My dad served 35 years in Indian Air Force. I did go to the Indian Air Force School and then also later in the academy for my higher education. I did my PhD in genomics and infectious disease there in India, and a little bit of that to be not distraction, but a little bit of enlightenment there. I did my PhD from a place near the Dalai Lama monastery. So I did get the chance to see the Dalai Lama 2 times. So that was a very spiritual experience to see him 101 while you are going through your journey of your scientific world. So as you can imagine, anybody who do PhD and in research, they want to become a professor. So I was on the track to become a professor, and I got several fellowships from the Commonwealth and international fellowship to come and do the postdoctorate in US. So I came and joined the University of Nebraska, Lincoln, and then also the Virginia Tech for my postdoctorate, and then became an assistant professor of medicine in University of Utah, Salt Lake City. We still have our home there because it reminds me of my place in India near Himalayas. So I love those mountains. So we still go back there. And while I was doing this thing, I was on a track, assistant professor, associate, and become a professor. Back in the mind, it was there that I want to work for the VA. Considering coming from a family of a military family, and also beyond that, I want to serve veterans. I'm not a clinician, I'm not a provider, so I cannot treat them. What is the other way I can do that? There might be other way by doing the innovation, because innovation is something which you can bring a transformative solutions for the veterans and change their lives. But for doing both of those things, as you know, maybe Amy, that you have to be a US citizen to work in the Department of Veteran Affairs. And I was not. So the moment in 2013 I became a US citizen, the very first thing I did, and my mom was not happy. I gave up my citizenship because India doesn't allow the dual citizenship. So I have to give up the Indian citizenship to work for the US. So I did that and applied all across the country because my main purpose was I have to get into the VA, no matter how. And I end up in Memphis VA Hospital in Tennessee, and I was a researcher at that time because my background is in PhD. But I have to do it in such a way that I am going to impact the veterans' lives. And for the innovation, that was always there, that I will move forward with the innovation. But for running the innovation in the VA, which is the largest healthcare delivery system, you have to have a business skills as well as the management skill, that how you are going to run those programs in the VA. And for that, I always say there is no right time or wrong time for the education. I went back to the school and finished my MBA from Kellogg School of Management, Northwestern University, and graduated in 2017 from there. Came back and joined as a director of innovation in Memphis, VA. We launched the innovation program not only in Memphis, but also in the Delta region, including Tennessee and Kentucky. And from there, we started one new program, which we'll talk a little bit more. But during this process, I met my husband. Also, when I was doing the postdoctorate in Virginia Tech, he was doing his residency in the UVA. And we'll talk about more about him, but he's also worked for the VA. He doesn't have a VA background, but he considered him as a veteran family since his wife has belonged to that. And he served as a chief of staff in Finger Lakes healthcare system, which covered the Bath, Canandaigua, and Rochester. And we'll talk more about where I am today and what are the initiatives we are working on.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. And what people may not consider is that you, if your father was in the Air Force, the Indian Air Force, right, is that the things that bind us together are commitment to service. And working in the, Indian Air Force, I'm sure a lot of the same things you grew up with, many of our veterans experience with their families as well. So that great connection there. And then becoming a U.S. citizen, my husband's also an immigrant and did his citizenship, and I had never been to a citizenship ceremony before. And when I went, I was so moved, and I'm sure you can relate, and just how he had to relinquish his German citizenship as well to become a U.S. citizen. But tell us a little bit about how you were feeling on that day. I just find this fascinating to really learn more about who you are.
Yeah, that's so true. Growing up in that family, three things which I think so I learned very early on. And whatever I do today, although my dad is not anymore, but whatever I do today, those things resonate with me. One was like a discipline. And I can imagine that you can connect with that. Discipline, dedication, and determination. If you have those things, you can go far. Because so those are the three things which I learned very early on, that if I want to do something, I will do that, and you have to go through it and be persistent, you will make it happen. So in the US, when I came as a postdoctorate, I didn't have any, like, I thought that if I will come here, do my postdoctorate and go back, and then go back and then be professor and then be there. But when I came here and met my husband, because I met my husband here, and he's also Indian, he was Indian citizen at that time. And for both of us, we love this country in the say that if you have the opportunity, this is the country which will give you the opportunity to do what you want to do. So for me, that do I have to continue my professorship and go all on that, or do I have an option of doing something else? And I don't think so I had that option if I might have gone to India. Because in India, I might be a professor and maybe running some company, maybe a CEO of some company. But because I was on that track, maybe I might have never got the opportunity to work for the VA, because VA is very specific to the healthcare. And I'm not a provider or a clinician. So when we both met and then we decided that we want to become a US citizen, it was in Salt Lake City. I do remember, and I do have a picture of that. And we both went, and he became a US citizen So in my background, in my PhD, I have several patents. So otherwise, you know that it takes long time to get a citizenship. I had a 17 patents, and as a result of which, I got a extraordinary alien category, which happened within 6 months. So we got the green card in 6 months, and 3 years we got the residency and we got the citizenship. So Satish, before he became a citizen because of his doctor, his MD, I became and he became a part of me, and we both become a US citizen. But it was a game changer. I did call my mom that day, and we were very happy and also a little bit of a, I will not say sad, but something like you are not anymore a citizen of your country. But like you said, whether you are a veteran in any country, it's same. You are serving your country, whether it's India, whether it's Germany, whether it's US. So for me, my journey is like growing up in India in a veteran family until now serving to the veterans of the US. It's same.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And, caring, compassionate people like you who have been attracted to the VA and providing the care or the leadership and the coaching and the mentoring within the VA system has, is a benefit to our veterans and their families. So I'd love to dive into really some of those innovation factors that you've been leading and been at the forefront of, because that's where it's at. That's where we need to really move the needle. And the VA can be, set the standard for healthcare and be a light and a guiding light for the healthcare industry and for our veterans. Can you share some of the things that you're most proud of that people might recognize or know about, or what you worked on that you can share with us?
Yeah, sure. And that's what I was thinking, that in the podcast, we are talking about the initiative innovation. And so the topic which I was thinking is like transformative innovation in VA through public private collaboration. Because all the projects which I did it or the still working on is more about public private collaboration. So the very first thing which 3 years ago when I joined Memphis as a director of innovation, I also become a VHA innovation ecosystem fellow. So when you become a fellow, you can pick on one of the project which might be facing something more barrier in the access to care, or what are the biggest challenges which veterans are facing for the access to care. You can pick that project and you can work with that project with the private sector in collaboration and make a innovation, transformative innovation to have impact on the veterans. So that program is quite known at this time. But 3 years ago, that program started with the VHA Uber Health Connect initiative. And that program started in collaboration with the Veteran Transportation Program Office, with the VHA Innovation Ecosystem and Uber Health. And whenever I present that project anywhere, people like, how on this earth you brought the Uber Health to the VA hospital? So like I said, that if you have a determination and dedication, you can go after the things. So it took almost 1 year for us to work on the collaboration with the Uber Health, from the regulatory piece, considering we are the government, and also the policy piece. But the problem was that, as you know, I'm very sure, that transportation is one of the largest barrier to the access to care. And 1.8 million missed appointments, which happens every year in the VA facilities, is because of transportation. So is there any way we can provide a supplemental transportation option for the veterans so that we can reduce no-shows, improve their experience, and as well as do the cost saving to the VA hospital? So how can we do that? In my personal life, when I was going to school, I used rideshare a lot. And that was very convenient for me. So I said, okay, can we bring that same experience for the veterans? So we collaborated with the Uber Health so that they can provide a rideshare service to the veterans for their medical appointment anywhere they need. It doesn't have to be the VA hospital. If they are going to the community care, if they are going to the clinic, they can use that program. Its program benefits were huge because veterans don't have to pay from their pocket. VA does provide the travel reimbursement. They don't have to go through the travel reimbursement. They don't have to claim for the travel, and they don't have to do anything. Literally, the notification comes on their phone. They click on that, yes or no, and that Driver will come, take them off, and the mobility manager who is scheduling the ride can see on the computer where they are going. So safety is very important for us, and where the patient is dropped. Patient is ready to go back, schedule the ride, patient goes back. It can be booked 1 year before for the dialysis patient, or it can be done 2 hours when the family member didn't show up. So we started doing that, and for the first year, we did it only in 10 VA hospital. It was launched in January 2022. Based on the success of that, we did it in 58 VA hospital. At this time, after 2 years, it's deployed now enterprise-wide. This May of 2024, it is deployed with the help of the program office to all the VA hospitals. As we are talking, it is in 110 VA hospitals. We have provided around more than 500,000 rides and with 50,000 veterans and saving around $300 million because we avoided 147,000 missed appointments and around 25,000 bed days were saved, which cost almost $4,900 for the VA if the veteran is discharged and the other person sitting in the waiting room cannot have that bed because the family member didn't show up or the transportation from the VA is not provided after 4 p.m. on the working days and also not provided in the weekend. So it was a game changer for the veterans. Several stories from them. You can bring your family member, you can bring your service dog, and it was a game changer. So that was one of the initiative. We'll talk more, but that initiative is now on. And anybody who is interested to know more, whether it is available in their VA hospital or not, they can go on the website and then VHA Uber Health Connect initiative, or they can call their travel person or the person who is scheduling the ride for them and tell them that I do need a ride share. And if the ride share is available, it will be provided to them. So now it is available everywhere as a ride share service, which can be open for Uber and Lyft both.
Yay! I love that story. It's probably not as well or widely known. So thank you for sharing that. That's where your MBA meets meets healthcare, right? I mean, really saving money when it comes down to bed space, and that's why people like you with that passion, with the innovation background, the MBA background, can really help the VA. Tell me if you want to share your thoughts about improving the culture, the mindset, or that you're seeing at the VA, because a lot of veterans like myself and kind of have a stereotype in their mind about what the VA can and can't do. And when we talk about innovation, what are you seeing out there? What can you share with people about what you've seen through your years working with the VA?
Yeah, and I will take Amy a good example. You brought up very good thing because when I was starting this program, it is the biggest challenge, whether you are in the VA or not. Patient is patient, transportation. So knowing the culture was a very good important thing for that program because we cannot ask the 80-year-old veteran to take this program, sit in the stranger car, and feel comfortable. He or she will not because that person never used the ride share, never sat in the stranger car, and never thought that somebody is going to take me and he will not feel safe. So for that, and that is a culture. That is a culture, whether you are 80-year-old or whether you are 40-year-old, if you didn't use that and you will not feel safe. Because as we were growing up, we were not allowed to sit in the stranger car. So how you are doing now? So that was a very important, big challenge for us when we started. And that's why we started only in 10 VA hospital. It was in Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, and Kansas. So those were the places where we thought of trying. I will literally say trying. We didn't know that it is going to be successful or not because buying in from the veterans and asking them to use it was a biggest challenge for us. And for that, we have to make sure the schedulers learn how to use the dashboard of the Uber Health. That was the extra work for them. How we can bring all these people and then say try. But I can tell you, I never believed that this program will get so much of a acceptance from the veterans. At this time, 92% of the veterans recommend this program to the other person. 85 said that if we don't have this program, we might have missed the appointment. And so slowly, they started coming. We tried only. And we said that you only try. If you like it, good. If you don't do it. And these are the people who are from 75 to 85. They cannot drive the car, especially if you think about Florida. Traffic is more. They have to bring their family member. So that is a different story. That person has to drive. They don't have two cars. And this traffic is too bad. Then they have to park. So we said, you can try this and then see how it will work. They were the most happiest people. On our YouTube, we have VHA Uber Health Connect Initiative 5 minute. That is only veterans talking about this. They were so happy that they can bring their family member. They were so happy they can bring their service dog. They were so happy that it is coming on their door. It's like a valet. It comes on your door. It takes you from a door. You don't have to think about that anything. And there are so many testimonials from them on and on. We have several articles, several things which is about the veteran. So like you said, if you have to test the culture of the VA, a lot of people have that stereotyping, like you said, that the status quo, that no, VA cannot do that. No, bringing the private sector in, that was the biggest, I think so, surprise for so many people, that how can you bring the Uber Health? And on the other side, how the veterans buy in and they love now this thing. So you have to try. And the veterans are veterans. They love the innovation, I can tell you. They are not tech savvy, but if you will tell them how to do it, that is the reason. Only one thing I wanted to tell you, that there is a person, we were recently talking, and then he said, my dad never, he's 80-year-old, and he never, we keep on telling him, take the iPhone, take the iPhone. And he said, no, I don't need iPhone. He said, we said, we will do the FaceTime with you. You should have iPhone. He said, no, it's too complicated. I don't want to. And he said, few weeks ago, he came to know about the rideshare. But for the rideshare, you should have phone. So he said, okay, go ahead and buy the phone for me. And he said, Indra, you cannot imagine. And that person, I never met that person. We had first talk. And he said, you cannot imagine, Indra. I am, because of this program, it's not that he's taking the ride. Because of that program, I can do the FaceTime with him. So it was like, I was like, I cannot even imagine that people, because of that, something is happening. And he said that you don't think that it's only missed appointment, you are bringing them to that, but it is way beyond their experience and their connection with their family and the way they are saving the time. That is most important for them.
Oh, those are wonderful stories. How hard was it to convince your leadership of the VA to be open to the idea of trying something new like this with the Uber Health VA for the VA?
Yeah, that is also just now before this, I was on the Hackathon virtual lecture, and today my case study was presented. So I presented my Uber Health case study along with the Executive Director of Veteran Transportation Program Office. And this thing did come up, and they said, what was the secret sauce? Like how you made this happen, considering it's a government. And like I said earlier, anything you want to try new, try small. Don't go all the way. And that's what happened in the healthcare. People want to go all in and then waste all the resources. And by the end of the day, you don't get anything. Try small and then see how it's going to work out. My fellowship played a big role there because fellowship was from the program office. They provided the resources. And then the champion, we brought it the sponsors from the VA hospital. Mr. Dunning, who is a medical center director at this time in our VA hospital, he used to be in Memphis. And he was the first adapter for that. Mr. Greg Growings, who is a network director of Vision 9, came up, not all of them, only 2 or 3 people. When I did it in 10 VA hospital, we had the 3 sponsors, one from the program office and one from the Vision 9, which is Tennessee and Kentucky. Mr. Goings was there. Mr. Dunning was from Memphis. He was the sponsor. And they said, let's go. And then we went and then we did it. After 10, there was no going back because they believed on that vision. They believed on my vision. And they said, no, we have to try because it's so big challenge that we cannot let it go, anything which we can try. So we tried. After 10, it's a history because after 10, everybody came in. So
Okay.
yeah, it was something, I think so. I always say that do some things for the mission oriented. If you will do that, you will get success.
It
It's
was,
it's a moment of time only.
yeah. Well, when you're championing something, nobody can say no to you because you're passionate and you're championing this cause, and you just can't say no. What do you got to lose if you don't try it, right?
Right, right.
Um, yeah. Well, I wanted to, here at the Be the One podcast, we're talking about reducing veteran suicide and kind of how to be the one to prevent a suicide and really open the aperture to talking about overall veteran health and having a thriving life. Something where um, we can all make an impact. And so, how do you feel? And you're part of the Be the One Advisory Council. What makes you want? What attracted you to that initiative? And then, what would you like to share about VSOs, Veteran Service Organizations, partnering with the VA and under that umbrella? So first,
Yeah,
about your overall personal participation and being a champion for the Be the One program.
yeah, and I think so, Amy. Um, Let me go a little bit back on that. Yes, so because there is some very big initiative which we are doing at this time, and that initiative has a one track which we are focusing on for creating a transformative innovation solution, and that is to prevent veteran suicide. As you know, we have a six main priority, strategic priority for the VA. We chose three priorities. One is the access to care. Second one is to prevent the veteran suicide, and third was hire faster. So I will talk a little bit on that initiative, and because of that initiative, how I came across the chairman of Be the One, Vaco Hoover. I was presenting in your national convention in the American Legion in New Orleans in August for the Uber Health, and I got the introduction there, and then we talked about it. So I have some of the announcement which I will do, but let me give you a little bit of an idea. The initiative which we are doing at this time, quite new, never happened in the VA, and how the Be the One is seeing that as a partner to be in that initiative. So that will give you a good idea. So to start with that, at this time, our Tampa VA is also nominated to be one of the National Center for Innovation. We do have five National Center of Innovation at this time: Palo Alto, Richmond, Cincinnati, Seattle, and one more, if I forgot, Boston. And Tampa is one of them now nominated. And there we have a lot of the innovation portfolios, the big initiative like the Uber Health. Um, and the goal of that national center is that how can we create a public-private collaboration in such a way that we can create a innovation ecosystem where we are not only developing the people but also technology. But the biggest piece, which I think will be the one somehow is connected with that, is the community development. So how we can bring people, technology, and community together in a common platform where we can create the transformative innovation solution for the better delivery of the care to the veterans. So that is the big mission for that National Center of Innovation. Several portfolios are there, but one of the portfolio which I'm going to describe here, that's how it's connected with the Be the one is the venture studio. So we are developing a venture studio, which is a combination of a hackathon, makeathon, and 6-month projects which are moving forward. So for the audience, if they don't know what hackathon is a 3-day event where people from the different discipline come together and focus on the largest barriers in the healthcare system. And after 3 years, they will come up with the solution in the form of a concept from the idea, and then they will move forward. And in the competition, some of the teams will win. So hackathon this year, it's one of its own kind, never happened in the VA, in collaboration with the MIT Hacking Medicine, and also because I'm a faculty in the MIT also. So the MIT Hacking Medicine and Microsoft came together to create this hackathon in Tampa. And it happened in last May. And as a result of which, we focused on three tracks. And one was access to care, prevent veteran suicide, and hire faster. And in that hackathon, all these three, they are not only the people who participated, is not only the VA employee. Like I said, it's a community development. American Legion local was involved in that. Wounded Warrior Project was included in that because we wanted the people to have the voice of veteran, what they see as a solution. So 219 hackers sat together and created 39 teams with the 39 solutions. And they are all from the 25 different states, including the VSOs, including the startups, including the universities, MIT, Northwestern, you name it, and including the veteran-owned businesses. They all came together as a mentors, as a judges, as a participant, and they created this 39 solution using the AI technology of Microsoft. And as a result of which, we got the 9 teams which were selected as a winner for the hackathon. 3 teams were from the to prevent the veteran suicide. And all these teams, including the 9 other teams, are moving forward for Makeathon. And what does the Makeathon is happening? The concept is going forward, and the prototype will be developed with the Microsoft. And that Makeathon is going on now with the virtual session of 8 weeks, where we are giving them the lectures to create their business case. And Veko Hoover is one of our advisory council member for the whole venture studio, because we really want the eye to be there from the VSO, and that is a big part of that Makeathon. And there is a boot camp from December 10th to 12th, where all these 17 teams are going to compete, and 6 teams are going to be selected. And these 6 teams are moving forward, where we are going to invest on their project to create the full prototype with the Microsoft in 6 months, invest on them. And in next hackathon, which is going to happen in 2025, it's a cycle, and there they are going to present and they will pilot in specific VA hospital. Program Office of the VHA Suicide Prevention and the Mental Health, the VHA Access to Care, and then from the WMC, which is a Workforce Management, they all are part of this. And as a result of which, these 6 teams will move forward and they will pilot it, and then the AI technology best. To come back to the be the one, that how to give you a little bit of an idea what we are talking from the solutions from the to prevent the veteran suicide. And I should not forget, we had only 3, but 3 we added later. For example, I will not read, but I will make sure that I'm spelling that right. These are the teams which are in the process at this time. One is AI Allies, which is building a chatbot that has been tailored to the needs of trans veterans with suicide ideation. Second one is a Guardian Assist, developing a multimodal AI analysis to help non-mental health staff engage in critical suicide prevention conversations. Hacking Harm, developing a computer vision AI tool trained on sentiment analysis and object detection to create alerts for the suicidal behavior interventions. HeartStore AI is very interesting, incorporating women-centric risk factors into an alert platform to determine whether the veteran is at risk for suicide. Hidden Truth is another one, creating an early suicide risk detection tool using machine learning with voice biomarkers and clinical decision support. And the last is the Vitae, transforming the static safety plans into dynamic veteran-centric decision point using humanized conversation. So all these 6 teams, which is very focused to the mission of the Be the One, is moving forward in this thing, and the 3 will be selected in our boot camp. And we have the judges who are also from the local American Legion. Tony Williams was the one who was last year, and Waco is a part of the advisory council, and we are bringing the other people also to be a mentor and then move forward. So it is highly connected in such a way that when I talk to Waco in the New Orleans National Convention about this campaign, I'm like, okay, one of the track of this hackathon belongs to you guys. So I don't want to announce that, but this is still in the exploration stage. And I did ask him, can I announce? He said, you should. So basically, we are still in the process of planning that how we can do the next hackathon of 2025 at the same time when the National Convention of your American Legion is happening in Tampa. So we are in the planning phase, that considering how the Be the One can be a part of that track. which is to prevent the veteran suicide. So we have to still tease out a lot of the things which is happening. So after our makeathon, we are going to have a planning, and then hopefully by January or February we will send that announcement. So that's how we are integrating your huge campaign, which covers so many 5 million veterans. And if we can show them that this is how, with the new technology, we are developing this thing and taking their feedback, what they think is the best for the veteran, will be a game changer for the VA.
Well, thank you for sharing that sneak peek and what's ahead. It sounds like you're bringing together the nonprofit sector, the veteran support organizations, service organizations, academia, and the VA, and the private business industry for vendors and those who can innovate and make the things. It sounds like a wonderful partnership, and we're excited to hear that. What's to come in the future. Can you share a little bit more about what maybe some areas for improvement, or what's for 2025? What are some things you're going to drive change for, or what's on your bucket list to tackle next?
Yes, that's true. So hackathon, we already did it. Now we are doing makeathon. So like I said, I always believe is do small. So this is a 1 year cycle which we are piloting. So we did hackathon, successful hackathon, got so many people involved, got these teams which are moving forward. We have a MOU, the agreement with the Microsoft for the 3 years of this cycle. And with the makeathon, we are trying the 6-month accelerator program. So all these three things, we are calling it as a venture studio. So venture studio, basically by the end of 1 year, we are ending up with the 6 projects which are focusing on the biggest challenges which VA has. One of them to prevent veteran suicide, other one is to access to care, and then how to test and pilot those. And that testing and piloting can happen with the program officers also. And then it can be scaled in the next 2 years. So this might be a fastest and the most organized way of creating an innovation pipeline, where you are building some of the transformative solution, like you said, in collaboration with the biggest beast in the technology, Microsoft, and bringing the brains of MIT, because being me a faculty in that, it is a big opportunity for us to bring them. And then mainly bringing the Veteran Service Organization, because that is the big piece of it, because we do need the voice of veteran. Whatever we are creating, we wanted to make sure that feedback should come from us. So from you guys. So Advisory Council is going to give the feedback to these programs, to these projects. So in FY25, we are hoping that this cycle will be completed. And for us, FY25 already started fiscal year. So and our hackathon for 2025 is going to be in August for another hackathon. And we are hoping in the hackathon they are going to come and then present. These 6 projects should be presented and show that how it came out. So that's the main mission, but to build a whole pipeline of the innovation in the venture studio space, and how can we replicate it in the overcoming years. And if it will happen in 3 years, we'll have a model like a Uber Health. And that model can be used in any region of the country. It doesn't have to be only run by Tampa, VA, or only run by the Florida. So that is the something. And when we brought the people, even from the other almost 20 states, regions of the VA hospitals were involved. It was not only the VA employees from the Florida, but they are from the other 20 states also was a part of it. So that is one piece of it where the Be the One will play a big role, considering they are new and they are also looking for a modern technology, how to bring that rebranding also in the American Legion. And I think so for us to be partnering with the Be the One will be a game changer, not only for the VA, but also for the veterans from the innovation point of view. And we have several other things which is going on. We have a fellowship program. We have a Uber RX, which is in the horizon, where we are planning to provide a 2-hour prescription medication delivery to the veterans. That's a part of the Uber Health program. And several other programs which we are running. But those are some of the highlights of what we are looking for 2025, and partnering with the American Legion, and especially with Be the One.
Well, wonderful. We are so lucky to have your leadership at the forefront of what is about to come. And just by these proof of concept, your success with the Uber Health, and now the hackathon and partnering with the American Legion. As we close out, folks, we're talking to Dr. Indra Sandal, Chief of Innovation for the VA. What else would you like to add to let people know, and where can we find more information if people are looking for maybe some way to get involved or want to look at some research, or if someone's out there who says, hey, I think I can help too, what would you tell them and where would you direct them to?
Yeah, that's a we have several websites, but like what I mentioned about the VHA Uber Health Connect initiative, it is now rideshare services. So any veteran out there, if they are scheduling their ride with the VA hospital, check with their travel people and then ask them if that is available in their VA. That is the easiest way for them to do it. The other piece is for the hackathons and makeathons. We do have a website of that. Also, the 5-minute videos are there on the YouTube. So if they will put the Veterans Health MIT Hacking Medicine Hackathon, they can see the snippets of that. If they want to get involved as a mentors or want to involve to be a part of it, the application for the next hackathon is going to launch next March. So look out for that. That is a public facing. It's not only for the VA because we are involving the private. So that website will open for the registration for the hackathon for the next year. And also you can check the LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is especially for these programs. We put it every month, some announcements there and some information. More information about the innovation, you can go to the VHA Innovation Ecosystem. That will provide you all the innovation which is happening in the VA and not only here. And to wrap up, I really want to say one thing that thank you to all the veterans. Because for believing in us and trusting on these innovative programs, which they never might have heard in their life, and for them to trust and continue to help us to improve some of the biggest challenges so that we can provide the best care to them. That is the most important for us, that they trusted us and they are still trusting us to make some changes. And always I end up with the podcast with one thing. Anybody who is out there, be passionate what you do, make it a mission oriented, and always dream big. No idea is small and nothing is impossible. I never thought that growing up in India that I will go after my dream and make it happen. And so thank you so much for bringing me here and letting me share my journey with you, Amy.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your dedicated leadership and your partnership with the American Legion. I look forward to meeting you in person in Tampa. And we just couldn't thank you enough for your day in and day out perseverance to bring innovation to the VA. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Indra Sandal, Chief of Innovation with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Thank you so much. And thank you. And thank you, Alphas, for tuning into the Tango Alpha Lima Be the One podcast. Remember, you can be the one to save one veteran. Find resources and more information at betheone.org and connect with the American Legion on social media to keep the conversation going. And don't forget to subscribe to the Tango Alpha Lima podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find podcasts. And please share our podcast with others. We'll see you on the first of the next month. Thank you so much. On the first day of every month, American Legion family members are encouraged to wear Be the One apparel to publicly show their commitment to reducing the stigma around mental health issues. Go to betheone.org to learn how you can be the one to save one veteran. If you're a veteran in crisis or concerned about one, call the Veterans Crisis Line at 988 and press 1. You're not alone. The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you, and you don't have to be enrolled in the VA. Help is available, and speak with someone today.